Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel as you see in the thumbnail. This is part 3 of What If Juubi Naruto x Kaguya in High School DxD. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe and also go and support the author, link in description. As the light died down, two figures can be seen, each having 6 pairs of golden feather wings on their back. Though before anyone could greet, for Naruto, or observe these two Seraphim, for the devils, one of them suddenly launched toward Naruto like a bolt of lightning, so fast that Naruto's students cannot follow this person's speed, as she glomping their teacher head toward her chest. And Naruto, despite God he is, soon find himself turned blue from the lack of air, and began to struggle by waving his limbs around comically. Gabriel, release. Uncle. Now. Kind, but firm voice of male can be heard from the other figure, making the female one, called Gabriel whimpering, but not releasing her hold on Naruto yet, as the Primordial in question nearly lose his consciousness from the softest twin pillow that crashing into his face. Gabriel. Ah, okay Oni-sama. With another threat, Gabriel in the end released her uncle that immediately gasping for air. With Seraphim on his side, rubbing his back, at the same time she's glaring at Gabriel that just smiling innocently. Now that the two angels have already stopped making a ruckus, the devils and Naruto can observe them closely. Michael, if Naruto could say, is kind-looking male, with green eyes filled with compassion and kindness, though at the same time held sharpness, which mean he can harm someone if he's being offended or his family is harmed. His hairs are blonde in color. Well, not as blonde as he is when he's a human, more like pale blonde, just not so pale like Ino's. And on top of these hairs is a halo made of light. His attire is simple and plain, if Naruto could say, which is white robe with blue marking on the side. Simply said, Michael is someone that Naruto didn't mind to train. Now. Gabriel though. Sweat drop slowly trailed at the side of Naruto's head as he could see Gabriel currently looking at him with a star-filled eyes full of awe. And with that alone, Naruto realizes this one is an airhead. Her appearance, though, is gorgeous. With long and wavy blonde hairs draping onto her back, seem like a soft cloud that any girl would find themselves jealous. Her eyes are green, just like her big brother, but unlike him, hers filled with so much kindness and compassion, without any kind of malice or negativity, just like a naive child. As for attire, she used same attire like her big brother, but once again, unlike him, she opened the front side, showing that inside the robe, Gabriel used a beautiful dress of silk with veil draped on her neck till waist. Simply said, Naruto's newest students are both handsome and beautiful. Finished his observation, Naruto shook his head and took a small glance at his devil students. They looked normal, except Seraphim that for some reason glaring hatefully at Gabriel. Well, there's no really killing intent there, so she must be only feeling jealous, and she felt rivalry with Gabriel. Rivalry is good, Naruto thought as he inwardly nodded sagely. Anyway, Naruto smiled at the two angels that would be his students, which they returned with their own. I hope my brother did not make you too upset for this sudden arrangement, because I wouldn't force you two to train if you don't want to. Naruto said kindly, though with a hint of sarcasm when he said brother. Gabriel and Michael's smile just widened at Naruto's words, obviously happy that the god in front of them is indeed the brother of their Lord Father. It's all right Lord Uncle, it is our biggest pleasure to be trained by blood sibling of Lord Father. 4 devils behind Naruto raised their eyebrows as they noticed that the two Seraphim behave as if their teacher is the sibling of their Lord Father. And devils there, they noticed when their teacher said brother with obvious sarcasm, unlike the two angels. One thing they agreed at the time. This is amusing. Good if none if you having a problem then, Gabby and Mickey. The clearing silence for a bit, but then it broke when Cerk snickered, followed by his 3 friends. As for Michael, hearing such a nickname from his supposedly uncle, he soon finds himself gain a twitching eyebrow from annoyance. Gabriel though. Ah, Oni-sama, Did you hear that? Uncle giving us a beautiful nickname. Once again, the clearing filled with silence as everyone looking at Gabriel as if she's having a second head. And yes, even Naruto, though soon he smiled happily. I'm glad you like it, Tabia. You're such a good niece. Kya, thank you so much, uncle. And the two quickly hugging each other after that, cheek rubbing each other at the same time. The others. Well, they're looking at the spectacle with owlish blink. All, except Seraphim that once again, glaring at Gabriel, and if look can kill, the female seraph would already die thousandth time by now. It takes another minute before the hugging duo breaks their hug, as after that Naruto smiling mischievously. Anyway, Gabby and Mickey. With all attention on him, Naruto pointed his finger at Ajuka. This one is Ajuka, or just call him Kelphead. Ajuka obviously having annoyed twitching eyebrow after that statement, but can't do nothing as his teacher pointed at Cerk. Before that happened though, Gabriel chirped something that would make Ajuka face so pale as if he's being chased by 10 Hydra. Nice to meet you, Kelpie-san. Gabriel face filled with nothing but innocence, and Ajuka found himself cannot fault this Gabriel. But taking a glance at his sensei, Ajuka face turned more pale than previously, as if the god of the Bible himself chasing him. Don't you dare, sensei. Cat-eating canary grin is the only response Ajuka get from his teacher. Now. What did you mean by that, Kelpie-kun? With teasing tone, Naruto wiggled his finger that makes Ajuka more annoyed at him, and this is the breakpoint for the heir of Astaroth clan. Sensei I. Green equation exploded from Ajuka, and his hairs stood like an angry lion. Ahahaha, catch me if you can, Kelpie. Not affected at all by Ajuka aura, Naruto blurred and appeared on top of a tree, all the while giving his green-haired student a thumb down. Angry he is, Ajuka eyes turn into comical green flame as he began to dash at his sensei, at the same time shooting many green compressed equations at the little Primordial, which he dodged quite easily. The angels and devils behind looking at the spectacle with sweat drop, except Gabriel that squealing at seeing her uncle impressive speed. Though soon they looking at each other with a disarming smile, Gabriel is the biggest among them. Is that always happening? Michael asked nervously, getting three devils shrugged their shoulders. Cause honestly, they didn't know. It's kinda random. Anyway, my name is Cerk Gremory. Cerk said with a polite bow, making Michael and Gabriel smile at how the Cerk accepted them. Falbium glaciolabilas, nice to meet you too. Seraphim Citri, and the one running is Ajuka from Astaroth clan. One by one the devils introduced themselves with a polite bow, though, as for Seraphim, she finalized it with the stink eye at Gabriel. No one noticed this except Cerk and Falbium, making them roll their eyes in an amused manner. My name is Gabriel, it is my pleasure to meet all of you. My name is Michael, nice to meet you, Gremory-san, Falbium-san, Citri-san and Astaroth-san if he's here. Gabriel and Michael introduced, followed with a small bow. And after that, they trained until the dawn. XXX, break, XXX. That night, in Underworld. 2 more bowl please. Sorry kid, the one you just eat is the last bowl. With a pout, a surprising form of Naruto can be seen sitting in the chair on a ramen stand, on his back is small bat wings, twitching and flapping each 5 seconds. And here I can eat 12 more bowl. Muttered that in dejected manner, Naruto pulled out his Gama-chan and picked 20 yen for ramen that he had eaten. Ahahaha, come again tomorrow kid, I give you a discount. While laughing boastfully, the owner of the stand accepted this strange kid money, then take the 5 empty bowls and place it in its place after wash it clean. Okay. Hearing a discount word, Naruto chirped happily and bounced in his chair, eyes look very happy, making the stand owner that seeing this shaking his head. This kid's sin must be gluttony. As for Naruto himself, noticed the owner is packing to go home, he jumped off from his chair and waved at the ramen stand owner. I'm off then. Thanks for the food Aji-san. Yeah, thanks for the business kid. After that Naruto began to walk away, eyes darting around the underworld to memorize every detail he can see. Honestly, coming into Underworld has been so easy after he learns the way of magic, and once he learned the equation needed to teleport to Underworld from Auka, he can pop out and into here every time he wanted. Though weeks ago, his problem was how to come in without alerting every devils here. And once again, it was so easy. Let just said his yin and yang chakra is two sides of the same coin, which is light and darkness. And his body has 16 type of energy include these two. What he needs to do is simply compressing the other 15, then use yin chakra within him to make a shell around these 15. Thus, if anyone ever uses Sensor's ability on him, they would only feel the yin energy, which is same like devil energy, albeit more potent. As for the wings, well, Kaguya had trained him to control his chakra better. And if Kurama can make his whole body from chakra alone, Naruto is sure he will surpass his partner, so wings is not that hard to make. Too much deep in thinking, Naruto did not realize he walked onto the proud-looking devil until they both crashing into each other. Oof. Muttered that, Naruto shook his head after stumbled backward a bit, then looking forward. Well up to the devil that glaring down at him with a sneer. Oi chibi, do have eyes or not? At the blatant way this devil insults his height, Naruto glares at him immediately without any fear. Devils around them began to back away seeing this spectacle. I should be the one saying that ape, or are you so stupid that you cannot use your eyes? Devils around them began to gasp at Naruto come back, obviously surprised at the little devil bold words. Well, Naruto is Naruto, his true attitude may be shy and gentle, but he is still Naruto that love prank and never cared about such thing as ranks, the one that can make people angry with a few insults, and the one that would insult back if he's being insulted. A month ago, he just cannot show this attitude yet because he's still not comfortable in his real body. You little fuck dash. Stop right there. Just as the big devil wanted to punch calm-looking Naruto, a soft, feminine voice can be heard. And this voice make every devils there freeze, their eyes dilated. Naruto, obviously curious on why this is, turn his face to the left, where he can see a beautiful woman with silver hairs and mismatching eyes, blue for left and green for right. Her hairs is long, reaching the ground she step, though magically it hovering just above it, as if refusing to touch the filth in the ground. And this woman, currently smiling kindly at Naruto that folding his arms on his chest and tilting his head cutely. Who are you? Oh my! So adorable! Once again, the devils around began to gasp in surprise manner, first because this white-haired boy didn't know who he faced at the moment, and second because the woman didn't kill the boy for not bowing before her. Now that they realized that, all the devils began to kneel at this woman, each having face full of fear. Naruto though, gain a twitching eyebrow as to him, he is being ignored by everyone at the moment. So with adorable moment, Naruto pointed his finger at the woman that just now stopped him from beating the thuggish devil. I said it once again, who are you? Yufu, my name is Leviathan, you can just call me Leviathan cutie. For a bit, Naruto titled his head, feeling that name sound familiar. But several seconds not finding any answers on whose this woman is, Naruto just shrugged his shoulders and smiling at her. Okay Leviathan. Looking around, Naruto sees that all devils that just now kneeling already gone, leaving only a dust behind. His devil wings flapped for a bit cutely, Naruto changed his attention toward Leviathan again. With the woman in question just smiling in an amused manner. Anyway Leviathan, you know where I can meet someone called Lucifer, yeah, that, you know where I can see him. If it can, Naruto words make Leviathan covered her mouth and laughing more. even her other hand holding her stomach in obvious painful manner. Naruto raised his eyebrow for a bit, but decided to just wait until this kind devil finish her laughter that he didn't know the reason. You. So adorable, so you want to meet with Lucifer then? Wipe the tear in her left eye, Leviathan asked Naruto, getting him nods with soft Letting out another amused giggle, Leviathan made a motion for Naruto to grab her palm, which Naruto complied as the two then walking toward the big building in the middle of the city. XXX, break, XXX. Time skip, for Great Satan office. Crash. Lucii, look who's I bring along. With a powerful kick, Leviathan made the door flying into the head of the handsome-looking male with silver hairs. And because this male just now is reading some papers, despite he heard the sound of his sister coming, he did not have enough time to evade the incoming flying door. Thus the heavy door crashed onto his defenseless head. Gah! Stop kicking door, woman. Don't you know how much that cost? The man barked with comical fangs and bump on his head. Though when he see who's Leviathan bring along, he calmed himself and leaned his back toward his chair. Another man, this time with green hairs, noticed the strange silence, as he then glanced at Lucifer, then looking at where his eyes going to. And seeing the same thing as Lucifer, smirk filled with battle lust soon etched on the man's face. Another man, this time with black hairs and one horn pointed upward from his forehead, sensing the tension in the room, found himself awake, showing his all black eyes. Which soon, glanced at where his leader gazes goes into. His expression unchanged. So. At last you have Kodash. Old man. Narrowing his eyes, Lucifer connected his fingers in front of his face. And just as he began his monologue that he has readied for this exact moment, Naruto pointed at his hair and saying a word that none can expect. Green-haired man soon snickered and slamming his palm again and again onto the table. The black-haired and horned man at first silent, but soon he averted his gaze and silently snickered too. Yufu, he called you old man Lucy, it remind me of something. Leviathan though, didn't seem to resist anything as she just giggled at her big brother's slack-jawed expression. What? Do you even know who are you calling old man Oichibi? And how could you cut me off? Don't you know how much day I need to make that monologue? And it's all prepared when I meet you too. How heartless can you be, huh? Jumped from his chair, Lucifer seems to ready to beat down the chibi in front of him. Unfortunately the green-haired and black-haired man stood up and restraining him quickly. Unhand me this instant. Beelzebub, Asmodeus. Let me beat this heartless chibi. With comical waving limbs, Lucifer is trying hard to get out from his brother's restraint, even breathing out a fire that didn't even burn anything for some reason. You're a funny old man, he. Not even scared, even amused. Naruto soon found himself chuckling along with Leviathan, making Lucifer in the end crying his eyes out and back to his chair in sulking manner. Come here cutie, you wanted to talk right? Taking Naruto's hand again, Leviathan guides him to her chair, as she then sits there and places the boy on her lap. And magically, the tension back once everyone back to their chair, as everyone within the room becomes serious, except Leviathan that began to hum while playing with Naruto's silky hairs. So. You want to do your monologue now, Supreme Leader of Devil? Naruto said, all the while his eyes narrowed at Lucifer, which the man returned with his own. Of course, and thanks for the reminder. Giving Naruto a thankful nods, Lucifer then took a deep breath, then back at staring Naruto with narrow eyes. So. At last you have come to the Underworld, Primordial. After Lucifer said that, killing intent filled the room as 3 of the 4 Satans trying to force their will on Naruto, which he batted easily with a wave of hand, making Lucifer's and Beelzebub's smirk widen. Honestly, I wasn't expecting you to move this fast, Primordial, as my speculation you would come to me next month, but I guess the 2 addition students of yours make you move faster. Naruto narrowed his eyes here, though stopped when he felt comforting hand of Leviathan that began to rub his head. Now he's not stupid, he may be a straightforward person, but he won't go into the enemy leader's base without reason. His plan at first only to test the water if one could say, but when he felt Leviathan, which he didn't know as one of leader from name, but from the power she has, did not have any ounce of negative emotion toward him, Naruto become curious. And this, made him want to meet with the other leaders. So how surprised he is, when none of them held any negative emotion toward him. Well, except Beelzebub, but it is more into an intent to battle with him. Battle maniac, he concluded. You must be asking, how did this badass handsome, powerful, and invisible devil know about that, in frantic manner right? Nave dash. Nonsense. Standing up suddenly, Lucifer spread his arms in a haughty manner, complete with a smug smirk on his face, on the way cutting Naruto words. Obviously, the young Primordial gained a twitching eyebrow and ready to jump at this stupid-looking devil. Though unfortunately, or fortunately, Leviathan uses one arm to pull him closer to her chest, all the while she kisses his ear to calming him down. And this is a success as Naruto began to calm down, though followed by a small patch of pink on each cheek. Seeing this, Lucifer glanced at Beelzebub, then Asmodeus, then back at the Primordial, then back at Beelzebub and Asmodeus. Why I'm restrained by ugly man like you two while him. Q for Lucifer pointed his finger at Primordial got restrained by the most beautiful girl in the underworld. Just as Beelzebub wanted to bid him back, Leviathan answered simply. He is cute. You on the other hand just you. And with that, Leviathan back at kissing the Primordial on her lap, at the same time caressing his cheek softly. With a growl, Lucifer takes a note to gather all beautiful devils to restrain him next time he wants to beat down someone. Anyway. Like I said previously, you must be asking, how did this badass handsome, powerful, and invisible devil know about that, so let me answer it for you. Primordial. With one hand in the air, and other hand flapped his bangs, sparkle magically appears around Lucifer, which he is sure will make him more cooler in the eyes of Primordial. Sad for him, the Primordial in question just closed his eyes from the pleasant feeling each time Leviathan kissed him and caressed his cheek. And not noticing this, Lucifer just continues his monologue. I Lucifer, the king of the devils has since long ago following your movement, of course with the help of disgusting bug from Beelzebub. At this, Naruto gives Lucifer his attention, his cheek, however, unconsciously leaned toward Leviathan palm, much to her delight. Beelzebub however, let out a growl, simply because his fly that helping them to tailed the Primordial movement without the Primordial himself noticing insulted by Lucifer. Oi, instead insulting my fly, just how long this monologue of yours? Geez, be patient Beel, let me see for a bit. Stuffing his hand toward his pocket, Lucifer then let out a very long piece of paper that he began to read quickly from the top. So it is with an knowledge ethaudiu, Primordial didn't like any conflict and want to ouch, who shoot that flame fucker. Asmodeus surprisingly, is the one raising his hand, and his next words stab like an imaginary arrow into Lucifer's heart. It's boring, let me go home. Beelzebub smirks widely here, as he then said another thing that make Lucifer stumbled back as if being punched in the gut. Me too. Your monologue is trash anyway. Like a robot, Lucifer turned his attention toward his last hope, which is the Primordial. And his heart broke as he sees that the Primordial in question already leaned his face toward Leviathan chest and closing his eyes from obvious pleasant feeling from the most beautiful devil kisses and caress. Why you all are evil. Why. Crash. With that, Lucifer ran straight toward the wall and passed through it easily while crying as he goes straight into his house. Several minutes passed, Naruto turned serious again and looked at Beelzebub with a pointed look. The Lord of the Flies smirked here. Simply said, we, the four Satan did not have any intent to continue this war and decreasing our number anymore. Here, Naruto widens his eyes, though before he could say something, Asmodeus cut him off. Do not misunderstand Primordial. Saying that softly, Asmodeus tilts his head and locked his gaze directly into Naruto's own. We, the four Satan hates our father. And would do almost anything to kill him. The only reason we did not want to continue this war is simply because Lucifer find himself attached to his civilians and feeling bad for forcing them on his way to revenge. On another side, we are not ruling devils with an iron fist, so while we did not want to continue this war, we cannot force our civilians to not hate the two sides. With that, I hope you understand. After Asmodeus' monologue, which obviously more good compared to Lucifer's, Naruto found himself didn't know what to think. On one side, he's happy that with this, two leaders has lowered their stances. But at the other side, he realized. Once again, cycle of hatred following him. How to heal these wounded hearts that losing their families. How to dry these tears that pouring as they lose their lovers. How to makes peace possible? With heavy heart, Naruto jumped off from Leviathan lap, much to her chagrin. And while facing the three Satans, Naruto gave a low grateful bow to them. I thank you, you four are very kind individual in my eyes. I won't dig on the reason why you hate your own creator, but I know you have your own reason that I cannot change no matter what, and also please contact me if any of you in need of something. What I wanted in return, is simply your friendship. Sensing the honesty within the primordial words, the three Satan, gave him a smile, except Beelzebub that just grunted something about battles and Cerk. And with that, I need to go home now, sorry for the intrusion, bye Leviathan. With a happy wave toward the one he felt most comfortable with, Naruto activated magical circle on his feet, making the circle with marking of white fox with 10 tails appeared below him, and seconds later, he disappeared. Bye Na-kun. Waving in return, Leviathan sighed dreamily with palm on cheek. He is so adorable. Asmodeus, just as the primordial gone immediately back into his deep slumber, not caring about anything much. Opposite compared with Beelzebub that sulking because he did not get the battle he wanted from the primordial. Oh well, he could just find Lucifer to beat up, he after all dare to insult his flies, when it was obvious without his flies, none of them would trust the primordial easily. He is strange. But kind and straightforward, he trained not one, but 4 clan heir of devil pillars, along with their 2 youngest sibling. The last one made Beelzebub snickered. He and the other may hate their father, but the Seraph, to them, they are still their little brothers and sisters. Simply said, Primordial is a friend to them, long before he knows it. XXX, break, XXX. Still within the underworld, Naruto peeks his head out cutely and staring at one of his student house. Honestly, he did want to go home just now. But remembered that he has students within the underworld, Naruto can't help it, but wanted to visit at least one of them. It's of course not because he afraid Kaguya spank once she realizes he has come home late, not at all. Anyway, right now Naruto is complicating whether he should come or not. Because why shouldn't he? What's in front of him is not a usual high-class house that he had seen in the past. He can't even call it house anymore. It is a palace. Damn fucking huge palace. Groaning lightly, Naruto also can see there's many guards defending the Gremory palace. That just makes everything more complicated. It's not like he can just walk there and said my name is Naruto and I am the teacher of Cerk's Gremory, come here to meet him in person now could he? A light bulb popped above his head seconds later. Walked toward the Gremory palace, Naruto stopped in front of 2 guards, magic circle in front of his mouth. 2 unnamed guards obviously did not take this as kindly as they pointed their spear at the strange boy. However, before they can say or do anything, Naruto had taken a big chunk of air and then he screams. Chilly head Gremory, I've come to visit you. XXX, break, XXX. Just now with Cerk. Taking a small chunk of beef into his mouth, Cerk gave a grin at his two parents, with them making a small chuckle. He had finished giving them knowledge on what he had done today with his three other friends. Just an hour ago, as he had come home, he could tell some light from Michael and Gabriel attack has scrapped him, and while it's not that hurt, he could still feel the light in question running through his wound. And because light is pretty much devil weakness and their major enemies is the only one could use it, thus make devils sensitive to even the weakest light, his parents had demanded him to tell them what he had done today. He told them he trained with his sensei afterward, and because every day he had told his parents since month ago he had trained with his sensei and three friends from other clans, they believed him instantly. It's not hurt that the three in question had been questioned by their parents too and said the same thing. However, he never told his parents who is their sensei, not even an alias. And from what Cerk knew, Seraphim, Auka and Falbium had done the same thing. Anyway, like usual, while eating dinner, Cerk gave his parents the report on what he has done today, including all the comedy, but excludes the fact he has two angels training with them. And much to his joy, his parents seemed so amused from the story that they completely forgot their first question. Just as he dancing inwardly from successful dodge, Cerk then heard the sound that he didn't want to hear. Again. The sound of his childish sensei. "Chilly head Gremory, I've come to visit you." Groaning, Cerk stood and walked toward the gate, knowing why his sensei do such a thing. Behind him, his father laughed boastfully and his mother giggling more loudly. Obviously, he had told them about his nickname from his sensei, so when the scream can be heard, his parents become more amused. Amused or not, they wanted to meet with his sensei, they had told him that several times in the previous week after all. And as good child he is, why should Cerk deny such a wish, more so with his sensei in question now stood in front of their house entrance. XXX, break, XXX. It's nice to meet you too, Zidaka-san, Venelana Obasan, my name is Naruto. Smiled ever brightly, Naruto greets the two powerful devils casually. His smile is so innocent as if he had not called the two devils in question with uncle and auntie call. Some maids and butlers that heard this though, found themselves coughed lightly, wanting to do nothing except to ask this young-looking white-haired devil to not to be rude to the Lord and Lady Gremory. Though once they knew this young-looking devil in question is actually their young master teacher, they can only gulp their unspoken words. "Oh my, such a cute and handsome teacher you have, Cerk. And he called me uncle too, ha 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 ha, I like him." Naruto just tilts his head from confusion at the two devils respond, did he do wrong? Seeing his expression, Zidakis put a hand on the shorter devil with a big grin on face. "Don't mind myself and my wife, Naruto boy, why don't we go to the dining room where you can tell me and my wife about how well our son is compared with his peers, it would be rude of us, Gremory left you standing here after all." While Zidakis staring at this Naruto, the red-haired man can't help but inwardly asking what did make Cerk thought his teacher is girl the first time he meet him. Oh sure, the boy seems very cute and all, but he has his own manly aura, and that face is more like devilish cute instead of pretty. "Oh, that's a good idea, Asen, there's so much we could talk about." Ended it with teasing voice. Naruto glanced at Cerk for a sec, making Zidakis grin widen if it can, along with his wife let out a small amused giggle beside him. Cerk, in act of rare denseness, just nodded and smiled at his teacher. "Then let me lead the way, sensei." Several minutes later, Cerk regret that words of his. "Gahahaha, that was hilarious, Naruto." Then what happened next? Then Cerk said like this, "It may take me 1,000 years to defeat you, sensei, but I will not give up," with such confidence, and it would become very cool indeed. If not because he at that time sticking his butt in the air and face planted to ground. Gahahaha, haha. Haha. Wheezing, Zidakis has unshed tears as he keeps laughing, so hard that his stomach becomes hurt and the table itself had destroyed because he had slammed his palms over and over again from the funny thing his son had done. Venelana did not seem different than her husband, as she also laughs behind her palm with mirth-filled eyes. Naruto himself just let out a small amused chuckle as the memories he told the two devils crossed on his mind. However, this happy moment did not shared with the one in the story itself, as Cerk practically buried his face within his palms by now, feeling embarrassed by his past self. Also small annoyed feeling at his teacher that told his parent about the moment in question. Ugh, you three are evil. Letting out another chuckle, Naruto took a glance at his red-haired student. While the two parents ignored their son wail and keep laughing. Then you mind calling Seraphim, Auka, and Falbium chilly head? I have other news for you for this night. That's one of reason for his visit after all, excluding the obvious of him scared to go back home because he doesn't want to feel Kaguya spanked tonight. Cerk noticed his teacher's words sound genuine, nodded seriously. Yes. Give me 2 to 3 minutes. After Cerk left, the room filled with comfortable silence as the Lord and Lady Gremory smiled, imagining on what their son's teacher told them. It makes them happy, knowing while their son training his bone to ground, he did also have a good time with his gang and mysterious teacher. One thing makes them suspicious though, just who is this Naruto? He seems kind enough, and that make them happy to leave their son in his more than capable hand if what he told them is true. But the questions still remain within their mind, who is he? He never told them which clan he comes from, nor they ever knew powerful devil called Naruto. Oh, who is he wanted to kidding to, their son is a high-class devil with the power of destruction in his hand, and the 3 heirs is not pushover too from what they heard. Heir after all not only a title from blood, because when the heir reach age of 19, other devils, within the same clan, can challenge the current heir for the title in question. Of course, most of these devils is below 100 years old age, as the one above 100 did not want to do such underhanded tactic to gain title. Well, they didn't have any problem with underhanded tactic per se. It's more like they knew the con is more prominent if they're bullying the youngster for a simple thing like a title. Where can they put their face if they've done such a thing? So it simply shocked both Lord and Lady Gremory once they realized this Naruto pretty much defeated 4 devils' heirs. As for Naruto himself, not knowing what's on the mind of 2 rulers, he just keeps slurping the ramen in front of him loudly, ignoring some of the giggles that come from several maids, finding his action quite endearing and adorable. Oh hey na dash. Just as Zedekis cannot hold back his curiosity and decide to ask, 4 pairs of steps can be heard, and several seconds later, Seraphim, Auka and Falbium that followed Cerk coming inside and immediately gave a bow to Lords and Lady of Gremory. Lord Zedekis, Lady Venelana, I hope you two had a pleasant day. Oh Auka, no need to be so formal. You are Cerk's best friend after all, you two Seraphim and Falbium. After getting chided by Lady Gremory, the 4 youngsters changed their attention to their teacher. That at the time slurping his 15 bowl of ramen. This got a deadpan from the 4. Sensei, we're here. Glanced up from his ramen bowl, Naruto takes a notice of his 4 cute students waiting for him. And knowing they had a tiring day, Naruto slurped whole bowl in one gulp and placed the empty bowl on top of another used bowl finished. Sweat drop appear on the side of 4 heirs of devil clans. Their eyes glanced at their teacher's stomach, which didn't have any hint of bulge, then toward the 15 empty bowl. Just where did he put all of that? They thought at the same time, not knowing that both Lord and Lady Gremory is thinking the same thing. Cleared his throat, Naruto got all attention back toward him. Okay, can we excuse ourselves Asen? It's kinda sensitive information. Looking to Lord Gremory while scratching his cheek nervously, Naruto hoped he didn't sound that rude and offend the red-haired devil. Fortunately, Zedekis didn't seem mind as he just smiled. It's alright, albeit I curious about what did you want to say to these 4, I respect your privacy. Cerk, escort your teacher and friends to guest room. Cerk smiled and gave a nod, then walked toward the hallway, followed by his friends and teacher. Zedekis dear, this Naruto is kinda strange, don't you think? Once the five cannot be seen and their steps cannot be heard anymore, Vanelana suddenly said, getting her husband's attention. Oh. Why do you think so? Zedekis knew what is strange with his son's teacher. His question is more like to know whether his wife had felt the same thing like he does. Knowing her husband's for 100 years, Vanelana just smiled in an amused manner. He don't have any ounces of sin within his heart. XXX, break, XXX. With the five. So sensei, what did you want to tell us? Ajoka said with respect, ignoring the obvious question on why he is in the underworld and how come he can make that batwing behind him. Because knowing his teacher, he knew the answer was like, I'm God, as if it explain everything. Firstly, Naruto began, getting all attention. I just met Lucifer and other 3 Satan few minutes ago. His 4 students turned stiff at that one little statement. Though Falbium has his lips tugged upward slightly from how his teacher misspelled the name of Devil Leader. Oh, calm down. Naruto waved his hand casually, once noticed his students' reaction, and here he hoped that they laugh instead turn stiff. Oh well, like I said before, I meet with the 4 Satan, and with joy I told you 4, the devil has lowered their stance for war. Really? The response is instant. Once the words leave Naruto's lips, his students scrabbled on their feet and immediately leaned their face toward him, eyes filled with hope. Go away, go away, go away, and go away. Of course, not one that liking such close proximity, Naruto's sleeve-covered palm pushed everyone's face without exception. All except Seraphim, that instead back out. She just leaned her face toward her teacher's soft hand, cheeks turned red once she smelled his grape-scented palm. Naruto blinked several times seeing this, not knowing what happened. But in the end shrugged his shoulders and pats the girl's cheek, making her blush deepened. Anyway, yes, 4 Satan has lowered their guard. The reason, because Lucifer find himself attached to his peoples and he don't want to sacrifice anyone again. Happiness filled the 4 heirs' eyes once they heard that. They knew that their teacher can tell whether one lying or not, so if he told them this, that's mean he trusts the 4 Satan's words. However, here Naruto gained a pained look on his face, making his students worried, though he didn't give them any time as he immediately continued like what Asmodeus said, we are not ruling devils with iron fist, so while we did not want to continue this war, we cannot forcing our civilians to not hate the 2 sides. With that, I hope you understand, so it has come to the people now, same like the angels. The room turned silent after that, with everyone deep in their own thought. Then Cerk broke the silence. We will make the devils understand that peace won't happen until someone forgive, just like you said, sensei. We 4 will break the cycle of hatred that you hate so much, sensei. Right, guys? Of course, it is our duty as students, Ajoka said with a slight smirk on his face. Kinda boring, but for sensei, okay I guess, Falbium said with a shrug. Yes. For sensei, Seraphim nodded and then looking at her teacher with growing blush. You 4. Naruto is stunned beyond belief, but it only lasted for several seconds as after that he smiles brightly. Proud and happiness welled in his chest. You don't know how much I'm proud of you guys right now. His students grin brightly after that, and seeing this, Naruto grin turns into an evil smirk with the promise of pain. Because you 4 seem so excited, I will give you all specialization training tomorrow, call it my own legacy for each of you if you want. Despite shuddered at their teacher's smirk, the 4 devils can't help but grinned more from happiness, because while their teacher teach them many things from how to fight and how to control their power better, never he teach them his own fighting style. And now, knowing they will learn them, nothing can suppress the happiness that poured out from their person. Yes, sensei. Ha! So excited, I wait for you 4 in my house tomorrow then, bye bye Tabia. With magical circle, Naruto teleport into his house, all the while waving his hand to his students. Now, he wonders what tomorrow would bring. Peeking through his bedroom, Naruto took a notice of Kaguya sitting on the edge of the bed, staring into the window with melancholy-filled face. Worry filled the little god heart as he then entered the room, his many devil wings no longer there, and at the same time his first step can be heard, Kaguya's head snap at him. Naru. Suddenly Kaguya stood, then walked toward her cute Naru that looking at her with that cute worry-filled eyes. Once she's in front of him, she kneeled down and hugged his lithe form. Where had you been, Naru? Her arms wrapped around his waist and below armpit, totally locking his movement, more so with her head that resting atop his. Not like Naruto tried to move away as he only found himself blushing from such close proximity, at the same time make him can felt the warmness the goddess gave to him. I just back from Underworld, talking with the four Satans. Kaguya tensed her hugs as he told her that, her breath hitched. He is God, strong enough to defeat these four Satan at the same time without any problem. But Kaguya knew her Naru is not one that like to charge into enemy's base just like that without damn good reason. So she just wait, knowing her Naru would give her his reason soon. And true to her guess, once the boy noticed his best friend tensed but do nothing since that, he knew that it means she want his reason. I didn't actually want to meet them, but when I see Leviathan didn't held any malice for me. I just kinda want to meet with the three others, sorry for making you worried, Kaguya. The goddess did nothing to show she's angry at her love, but she did tense once again when her Naru called one of the leader of devil with such a close affectionate call. Leviathan. Kaguya teeth gritted in obvious annoyed manner, though she no angry at her Naru for making a friend is a big no for her. So, she just took a deep breath, then carried her love and placed him gently on the bed, making him looking at her with a big, cute questioning eyes. Cannot holding herself back, more so her Naru just tempted her with that adorable eyes of his, Kaguya claimed his lips with hunger, her large sleeve-covered palms clasped into his shoulders to restrain him from moving. Which is a good move, as once Naruto felt her lips on his, he let out muffled squeak and tried to leap backward, which can't because set hands on his shoulders. There's no gentle in it, no holding back as the goddess lips tasting, chewing, and doing its best to mark her love lips as her own, at the same time with such hunger that it's kinda surprising that the boy did not passed out yet. Lime times. Expect soft femdom and soft bondage, skip of you don't like lime. Though from how red his face is and how his hands tremblingly tried to move hands on his shoulders, it can be guessed that his passing out would be soon. MNNNN. Naruto let out small moan of embarrassment as he felt the goddess shifting their position so she now on top of him, with him lay in the bed defenselessly, making Kaguya waste no time to trail her hands along his waist, all the while still kissing her love. Trying to resist despite this, Naruto soon found his energy as if drained. His beautiful friend's tall body draping against his lithe own, totally locking any movement he could make. Except his already trembling arms that now trying to push the goddess by shoulders. As if not feeling any force from his push, one of Kaguya's sleeve-covered palm crept into the godling kimono, where began to gently trailing touch on his back. Obviously making the boy face redder and make him let out small muffled gasp into her mouth. A cue for her to insert her tongue inside her love-sweet cavern. And feeling his wet, slippery, and obviously lithe tongue with her own, tasting his grape and ramen mix taste, then wrapping her larger tongue around his before sucking hungrily, Kaguya almost climaxes in place. The godling let out another muffled squeaky noise here, his face so much red that it letting out a steam. At the same time his conscience began to fade, both from embarrassment and lack of air. He though it was that, he would just pass out there and waking up tomorrow. But it seemed it's not going to happen as once the goddess noticed his lack of air, she broke the kiss, trail of saliva connected their lips. Then lovingly she cradles his head into her kimono-covered bosom, making him can only inhaling her powerful, yet intoxicating vanilla scents. He can barely pant. As if he had fighting against 5 Madara at the same time with nothing but simple sage mode. Is. This. What kiss felt like. He hadn't know, because he simply never kissed girl except when said girl trying to kill him. And that's too didn't use any tongue play, or even if it had, it's surely not as intense as the kiss he shared with Kaguya just now. The question though, is why? Why Kaguya kissed him? However, he didn't have any time to ask, as the goddess in question, once realizing he has recovered, placed his head back on the bed again, her lips this time descent into his defenseless pale while neck. Ah! Feeling the goddess' warm breath and soft lips on his sensitive neck, Naruto can't help but let out another soft moan, so soft that it can be called sensual. And this, successfully making Kaguya at first froze. Only to begin sucking with such vigor that Naruto feel as if he's going to be eaten by Kaguya. So it come to no surprise, as inexperienced he is, Naruto began to struggle from the strange thing his friend do to him. Stop it? K Kaguya sta on. Alas, that was nothing but a groundless hope, as suddenly the goddess used her sleeve-covered palms to pinches her love-bare nipples, thus his girl-like surprised moan. And fate decide to ditch him again by having Kaguya going down, her palms gently opened her darling kimono, letting his bare chest seen by the world. Staring on, Kaguya gazes at him as if her favorite feast are the one in front of her eyes. His face turned crimson, at the same time one of his arm crossed on his chest like an embarrassed female virgin. Well, he is virgin, only not a female. Anyway, this sight didn't seem to deter Kaguya, as it only make her more turned on. It's seen from her blushing face and ragged breath. She wants him. She wants him so badly right now. Suddenly, chakra flared from Kaguya as her hairs turn longer and moving as if a living tentacles. This sight startled the little god. Unfortunately for him, this moment grabbed by the moon goddess as quickly, large batch of hairs lashed and tied around his two arms and pressed it above his head. Making Kaguya now can freely drink on the side of his cute chest. Drool leaked from the edge of her lips, at the same time she licked her lips in sudden hunger. As for Naruto himself, he feels conflicted. His hands can't move, cocooned by Kaguya hairs that silky in nature, and this, for some reason, give him pleasant feeling. Or maybe it because he felt the hairs in question sapping away his strength. Whichever it is, his arms refuse to move except the smallest of movement that make him feel pleasant each time his friend's hairs rubbing into his limbs. And so he can only squirm below Kaguya, half deviant and wanted nothing except get out. And other half liking the silky rubs each time his arms moving. Above him, Kaguya looking on with amused and lustful gaze, her throat feel dry. It's amusing to her that her cute adorable Naru didn't realize that his own body began turned on by her slow, but aggressive ministration. She wouldn't let him pass out. Not this night. The goddess leaned down. Her lips nipped on one of the hardened nipples of Naruto, making him gasp at the feeling. Yet his gasp only fueled Kaguya to begin sucking his nipple just like what she had done to his neck minutes ago. She loved his voice. Her arms didn't stay idle. With her Naru cannot struggle anymore, it now freely lowered her kimono top part, freeing her violet-colored bra. Her groin slowly humping and pumping into her love own. Feeling this obviously, Naruto face turned scarlet, at the same time he let out small adorable mule of deviant waist moving around uncomfortably to get away from Kaguya humping own. Stop it, Kaguya, ahn. Moaning like a girl, Naruto renewed his struggle and began to squirm more below the goddess. But of course, Kaguya's strength is one thing that Naruto cannot exceed at the current time. Slurp slurp. Naru. I want you. No. Mnnn. Wet, slurping sound is the only sound can be heard after that exchange between the two. Even Naruto's own moan cannot be heard from how loud Kaguya's slurping sound is. Each time make him felt as if his nipple being vacuumed by her warm and moist lips, where she then can play with her moist tongue. No. Donna Umph. Tired of her love deviant, no matter how cute it make him. Kaguya goes upward and rape that lips of his with pure hunger, surprising him and make him more flustered if it possible. With moist eyes, he tried to look away, only for her two-sleeved palms cupped each of his cheeks in loving manner, locking the little god face in place. He still refuses to open his mouth though. And this, make Kaguya tried to piercing his defense with her strong tongue that began to lick his sweet lips rapidly. Surprising Kaguya, while his lips trembling, her love still refused to open his sweet cavern door. The goddess back off a bit, leaving her dazed love panting. Her own eyes now filled with nothing but primal lust. Naru. The little god shivered once he heard his goddess friend tone, but he have no time to talk as another batch of hairs quickly wrapped over his mouth and nose, forcing him to smell her feminine vanilla scent. You force me, if I can't have your mouth. I just make you cannot close that cutie instead. That was one strange logic. But Naruto cannot reply with anything but weak moan as his nose keeps smelling Kaguya hairs, turning his brain dazed and mushy. His body unconsciously squirms softly below the goddess, having no energy anymore from how much her hairs absorb. And it seemed this was her plan since the start as her hairs around the little god mouth unwrapped themselves, where Kaguya then easily dive into her love lips. Once again tasting his sweet cavern, with Naruto himself can only let out weak muffled moan. Kaguya, please NNN. Broke the kiss, leaving trail of saliva between them, the goddess then leaned into her Naru ear, her breath is warm and her word filled with nothing but lust. Please what, my Naru? While saying that, she's began to fasten her thrust of groin. Going up and down, faster than before, enough to make her love below her began to gasping and panting again. Esto ah. Each thrust become much harder than before, and Kaguya found herself loving each second of it, more so when her love let out adorable moan that tickling her ears like a chiming bell. And despite the fact her Naru haven't disrobed his kimono lower part yet. Same like her. Kaguya find herself still feel such a pleasure from simply feeling her love growing on her own. My Naru. Disregard her love plea, the goddess fastened her thrust once more. Then lowered her violet bra, freeing her large white breast with soft pink areola that already stood rigid, wanting some attention. Seeing this, Naruto blushed madly, then immediately closing his eyes. Just like his lips when he felt his friend, lowered one of her breast into his mouth. Please open your mouth Naru. Naruto almost complied from how much genuine want within the goddess voice alone. But once he remembers what's in front of his mouth, he closed it more tightly than before. So much that his whole body began to trembling from nervousness. Naruto. This time it is more like a plea. Kaguya hips also began to fasten her thrust, making Naruto lips trembling, biting back a moan that want to come out. And seeing this, Kaguya smirk lustfully, at the same time fasten her hips movement again, also making it more powerful. You. Stop it KMNNNPH. With a pained grunt, Naruto asked for Kaguya to stop, only for her to see this as opportunity as quickly, she thrust her right breast into her love-opened mouth, silencing him and gave her a jolt of pleasure from the vibrate of her Naru mouth on her breast. Chomp. MNNN, yes that's it Naru. Hissed from pleasure when her love biting her breast pretty hard, Kaguya eyes filled with more crazed lust. Her hips mercilessly going up and down into the little god's groin, making his eyes become misty from pain-filled pleasure. MNNPH. Yes keep moaning Naru I'm close. The god in question just closed his eyes tightly, inwardly gritting his teeth to endure the pain on his groin. Small soft sobs escaped his lips. Too much deep in her pleasure. Kaguya didn't hear this and just keep going herself on her love. Her breath rugged and her face beautiful covered by red hue, though her eyes at the moment filled with nothing but crazed lust for her cute and adorable Naru. MNNNH, this is it Naru. Breathing hard, Kaguya two arms wrapped tightly against the little head of her love, pulling him closer into her bosom. Kaguya scream when she's come is beautiful, as expected from goddess like her. Unfortunately for her, Naruto didn't seem to care as he's too focused into regaining his bearing from the numbing pain on his groin, which began to subsided because Kaguya began to slowing down. Naru. Kaguya's sudden nervous voice make Naruto flutter his eyes open and looking up to her with half-flustered, half-questioning look, why are you crying? Gently, Kaguya palm cupped the god cheek and swiped the tears of her love. Her face look worried which make Naruto just averting his gaze, just realized he's indeed crying from the pain on his groin. It hurt Kaguya. With the goddess's breast no longer on his mouth, Naruto said that. Soft sob escaped from his lips. And hearing this, Kaguya feel devastated. Never in her mind she ever wanted to hurt him. Oh, sure she want to tied him up as she have her way with him, at the same time he's struggling on his binding. But she's honestly wants him to feel the pleasure too and not a pain. Feeling dejected and disappointed in herself, Kaguya leaned down and kissed her love cheek lovingly. Getting him looking at her with his big, teary eyes. SSSSH, I'm sorry Naru, I'll be gentle now. The little Primordial just want to say something when suddenly, Kaguya once again silenced him with a passionate kiss. Gasp. Feeling a hand touching his inner thigh, the former blonde let out small, startled gasp of surprise into the goddess' mouth. A cue for her to slither her tongue inside and began to play with his, dominating the cute little appendage almost immediately. This time, there's no pain. And the former Jinchuriki of Kyuubi soon find himself moaned into the goddess' mouth, his body shaking from pleasure from the passionate kiss alone. MMMMNN. Inwardly, Kaguya cooed at her love adorable moan and want nothing except become rough again with him. But now realized this is his first time, thus his body going to be very sensitive both from pleasure and pain, she doing this as gently as she could. No way she make him hurt when her intent is to make him feel loved. Continuing the kiss, Kaguya hand slowly lowering the boy pants, freeing his cute cotton underwear that has a bulge in front of it. Naru penis. It's my Naru cute penis. Squealing inwardly, Kaguya eyes got a pink heart inside. And as tender as she could, she touched the cloth-covered genitalia, making the boy in question flinched and opened his eyes wide. And no, don't DMMNNN. Break the kiss suddenly by facing the other way, Naruto tried to stop his friend. Only for her to bit and sucking on his earlobe, all the while making dirty slurping sound. Stopping the little Primordial sentence halfway. And feeling now is the time, Kaguya lowered his underwear. His white, pink-headed penis jerked out from its confine, making the owner blushing very hard, to the point of crimson. As for Kaguya, it's Suokyotee, oh my. It's twitching. Blood dripped from the goddess' nose. Her eyes locked intently toward her love-cute penis, making Naruto become uncomfortable and crossed his legs in attempt to cover at least some part of his groin. It failed spectacularly, as Kaguya see this as more sexy than before. Obvious from more blood that trailed down from her nose. Seeing her expression, Naruto has acute, wide eyes of fear. And with that, something broke within Kaguya. Well it should, but Kaguya surprisingly only gave her love-restrained kind smile to comfort him. SSSSSH, it will be okay Naru. With her sleeve-covered hand, Kaguya make sure her love penis swallowed by the sleeve hole, tickling his inner thighs with her silk clothing, making the boy shivering in pleasure. And when it swallowed enough, she grasped the cute penis with her soft, feminine hand. Naruto let out loud gasp here, and thinking it as cue, Kaguya began to pump her grasping hand up and down, all the while she began to blow his ear again to give him maximum pleasure. His low moan, soft panting, sweaty face, even from how his hair's glowing from the moonlight, everything honestly make Kaguya mesmerized. He's so perfect. That's what her mind pictured him as. The sound that can be heard within is only the primordial soft grunt for several minutes, and at this point he already got his side filled with black from overpleasure. He's so sensitive. While thinking like that, Kaguya decided to give him the last push. Leaned into his ear once again, she gave it soft lick, then whisper. Come. Come for me, Naru. Cannot hold himself back, Naruto, just do that. His body jerked violently, mouth slightly opened in soft, almost silent moan as rope after rope of white substance filled the goddess' cupped palm. The little primordial took at least a minute to calm down his ragged breath, and when his sight can be focused once again, blush covered his tired face. It because he can see Kaguya licking clean her long fingers with such hunger to the point almost crazed. The sight is hot. But knowing he's not a pervert and not even intended to become one, Naruto closed his eyes, only to open it wide as he felt his male part guided into something soft. Stop it, Kaguya. No more in her crazed lust state. Kaguya did stop just as she want to impale herself with her love spear. Then looking at him with innocent looking Byakugan, full of question. I'm not ready yet. Please stop. Kaguya at first looked hesitant, but seeing her cute Naru below looking at her with his big, pleading eyes, in the end she gave in. Soft nod from Kaguya is what Naruto get, as he then sigh in relief, at the same time the goddess hairs unwrap themselves from his arms, freeing them. Lime end. Thank you. And sorry Kaguya, I just, not ready yet. He didn't even know Kaguya feel like that toward him. And while it indeed makes him flustered and warm in chest, everything just too sudden for him. So much that he need time to digest the new truth about Kaguya feeling. Anything for you, Naru. Kaguya understand, her Naru is only 17 years old, and even though the other that same age as him lusting after opposite gender body, her Naru is not. He is pure, despite his hurt past, despite going into war at young age, experiencing something that should not be done by someone his age, unofficially become the leader for his village, a hero for the whole world. He still held his innocent heart, innocent mind, but more importantly, he never fell in love. The goddess' soft, kind voice gave warmth toward the former blonde, as he then gained small pink hue on his cheek. His palms shyly clutching into the woman kimono. She returned it by pulling him into her body, placing his face on her bare bosom, her own face atop of his head, inhaling his enticing grapefruit scent. Flustered more, Naruto just wrapped his own hands around the goddess' waist and buried his face on her large breast, knowing it must be very red at the moment. And the two just stay like that until they both fall asleep. XXX, break, XXX. Tomorrow. Today is the day. Day where they at last learn their teacher legacy, and so, Cerk and Co can't help but feel giddy. Standing in the middle of the clearing along with Gabriel and Michael, the four devils waiting their teacher that for some reason taking his time. Met. It's just 5 minutes. It was at that moment Naruto come in front of them. His face etched in serious look. And this serious face, didn't held any ounce of adorableness in it, making his 6 students take a step back. The devils gulped, remember their supreme leader Lucifer has this kind of face before the war. While the angels think of their Lord Father when he's angry at other Seraphim. Seeing their respond, Naruto let out a soft smirk, and the pressure gone just like that. His students immediately take a big chuck of air, didn't notice that they're holding their breath just now. Good, you 6 notice the different. Cerk and Falbium is the one gave him are you crazy look as if to say who the hell can't notice that, and Naruto just let out small giggles here. You 4 has come so far, that's why you now can felt the experienced person that let out their seriousness 100%. As for Michael and Gabriel, they both are angel, they're more sharp in reading someone heart than you 4. Still not understand the point, the 6 just nodded. Seeing this, Naruto smiled at the 4 devils, more specifically. Seraphim, making the black Ed has a pink on her cheeks. Sera-chan, the one I will teach you is my special sensory ability to sense negative emotion that cannot be blocked by any mean. This will be hard. Sensing negative emotions. That's the first time they ever heard such ability exist. But nobody except Auka and Seraphim know all the possibility she could do with such ability, as Seraphim nodded excitedly. Intent to harm is counted as negative emotion. Which mean once she learns this, she can never be ambushed by anyone. Seeing his female student deep in her own thought, Naruto glanced at his lazy, but determinate devil student, Falbium. I am going to teach you two things, Baldy. While a bit triggered by his nickname, Falbium can't help but rub his palms from giddiness. One is to think outside the box and become unpredictable. Auka seemed jealous here, wanting to have that one, noticed by Falbium that become more giddy. The second is to mold your energy with such control that you can just spam any technique to destroy mountain without being tired. Cerk is the one whined here. That's was blasphemy, he should be the one has that one. Notice he make his two friends jealous, instead comforting them, Falbium decide to rub it in their face by laughing so hard. Mwahahahaha. Naruto just smiled in amused manner here, while Cerk and Auka seem really want to strangle their black-haired friend. Ignoring the laugh after several seconds, Naruto glanced at Auka, with the air of Astaroth immediately straightened his posture once he noticed this. Seals. With creation of all thing, Naruto made a paper and ink brush in both hand. Is a equation within the equation itself. Here, Auka seemed curious, as his teacher began to write in the paper with such dexterity, and within 2 seconds, he's done and show it to Auka that becomes speechless. Such beautiful writing, which mostly will take people to do maybe 2 hours to do so. Though he's curious what is the writing for. And notice this, Naruto throw the paper to his left side. The paper suddenly stopped mid-air, then began to cackling with purple lightning. Slowly, but surely a black hole opened, no, it's a portal, toward the underworld. Specifically behind the seat of Lucifer, where everyone can see the supreme leader of Underworld at the moment buried his face on the paperwork. Michael and Gabriel froze, but Naruto only take a stone, and throw it into the portal. Thunk. And hit the silver head. Okay, who the fuck do that? When Lucifer stood angrily, this time not only the angels froze, even the 4 devils froze along in fear. But for some reason, Lucifer didn't realize the portal and only keep looking around. And at that moment, Auka glanced at his teacher with realized and all look. It's a one-side portal, sensei. The other 5 relaxed when their teacher nodded with a soft smile. Sealing art, or Fuinjutsu is the one you will learn, Auka. Make another paper. Naruto quickly write something and throw it into the portal second later, making Lucifer seat freeze in the block of ice. And ignoring the cry of my throne. Naruto smiled at his green-haired devil student. The limit is the user own imagination. You could seal ice, fire, house, person, space, and time, even the reality itself if you have talent. Hearing that from his teacher that he already thought like his own father, Auka eyes shaking, ignoring Falbium mutter of damn lucky. He wanted to say he's not worthy, or anything, so his teacher gives such power maybe to Cerk instead. Because he knows, in his hands, such power would eventually corrupt him. But he can't say that. Not when his teacher keep looking at him with such compassion and trust. So gulping some gathered saliva, with heavy heart Auka bow his head, happy from his teacher trust in him, but a bit shaken because his fear of become a corrupt person. Why your trust won't be misplaced. Smiling at Auka for the last time, Naruto glanced at his last devil student. With Cerk already grin brightly, hands clasped behind his back. Naruto is silent, as if unsure of himself. And thinking it may be because he will learn something more badass, Cerk's grin got bigger. Chilly head. The redhead in question bated his breath, waiting, for now you join Falbium to control your power of destruction better. Why? Cry of Cerk quickly broke the serenity in the clearing, making Naruto sent an invisible flick toward his red-haired student for it. Ow! You're too loud, Baka. With Cerk clutching his head in pain, Naruto gained a soft frown and close his eyes, then absorb minimal amount of nature energy. Yug. His body immediately shaking, noticed by his students that become worried. The little Primordial quickly banish the energy from his body and take a deep sigh. Then glanced at Cerk. You see Cerk, while it's true you also need more practice in control first. The reason I can't teach you Senjutsu yet is because it held too much malice, enough for you to immediately attack anyone in sight. Then why teach him Sensei? The race can use Senjutsu safely from what I know is only two, which is Akuabai Kitsune and Nico Shell. Naruto frown deepened here as he takes a glance at his green-haired student that just said it. Because supposedly, I can do that too. How? Auka seemed very startled here, almost in disbelief. Ignoring his sobbing best friend that muttering something about suck and control. Because I'm awesome of course. Auka's sweat dropped. He should have guessed that one. Anyway. Blur appear around the Primordial that began to walk away, and second later, 6 exact clones of him can be seen, each focused on each of them, making his angel niece gain a wide eyes. Today you all training with my clones, cause I need to do something, bye bye Tabia. The devils sigh, a bit put off. But they knew, they already take most of their teacher time as it is. So there's no surprise if there's a day where he just leave them with his clones. He has his own life after all. And as his students, what can they do except make sure he's pleased when he come back? With determination rolling from their eyes, the devils look at their teacher's clone with smile. They are ready. XXX, break, XXX. With Naruto. His green-haired student is right when he said only Akuabai and Nico Shao can use Senjutsu. But to Naruto, he missed one more. That is God with nature domain. Yahweh told him once that he have 16 domain within himself, all of them is still dormant and not yet to be awakened. And Naruto know what is they are. 9 from the Baijus. 5 from elemental that he learned when he's human, which amplified when he becomes the new Juubi. And the last 2 is himself and Sasuke's. However, there is no such a thing as nature domain within these 16, and this make the new Primordial bit his lips in frustration. What Juubi, God of nature? If he cannot even absorb smallest amount of nature energy. There's too much hate in the nature, and it can even corrupt him if he aren't careful. Naruto by now already realize, the reason he's not corrupted from hate in elemental nation is because his contract with Toad is used as filter for the darkness within when he used Senjutsu. This make his respect for the first Hokage going up by large margin. For he, a god struggle with such a thing, and yet Hashirama Senju just stood for a second and nature cling into him like home. Giving the man a massive boost of power. Human is really full of talent. Shaking his head from his god way of thinking. Naruto creates thousands shadow clones near the mountain feet. Nature is combined form of 5 element in its purest form, that is what Kaguya said to him. So, if he ever wants to learn his sage mode once again, he needs to awaken the 5 elements domain first and master them. It takes several hundreds years for gods to master their domain. And when they do, it was only then they got their official real title. After all, what kind of title is God of Messenger? Meh, he must be God of Wind in training, that Hermes guy. For Naruto though, he don't have any intent to stay in dormant for long, more so several hundreds years, 17 only, and he's tired of war as he is. He wants to be a god, real one. Several hundreds. HMP, he only need at least a week to master this one. Of that, he knows. He did have his cheat ability after all. 3,600 clones, which mean one day is compared to 10 years of training, in a week it would be 70 years of full training. There's just no way he didn't get his awesome title by then. Cage Bunchen is just that badass. XXX, break, XXX. That night. His body aching, each second pulsing with pain that spread from his forehead into his toes. His mind in disarray, memories after memories jumbling away so much that his mind forced himself to think about nothing. He should have known, Cage Bunchen is forbidden technique for damn reason, not only because it's chakra price, but also from the mental breakdown if the memories digested is too much. But honestly, he never have this problem, simply because Kurama is there, helping to heal his mind and sometimes organizing his newly gained memories. God damn it. Sweat broke from his face, and the primordial god find himself panting for breath. This was the sight that greeted Kaguya once she entered their bedroom. Naru. At first it was hurt, but Naruto soon find himself relax when Kaguya carried him and cradled his body like a baby. Her sleeve wrapped around his body like a blanket, and the young primordial cannot help but snuggling into its softness. My Naru, what happened? Did someone hurt you? If yes, tell me who is it? Because I will teach them proper knowledge about pain. Naruto though, just silent, soft smile on his face. Kaguya is so cute, worrying over him like that. Blush immediately appear on his face, realize what just he think about. So in the end he just end up burying his face into his friend bosom to hide his reddened face. It's alright Kaguya-chan, I just trying something in my training. I see. They feel into comfortable silence then, with Naruto feel warmth in his former enemy's embrace. This lasted for at least 30 minutes, before in the end, Naruto broke their hugs and smiles cutely at Kaguya. I'm alright now, and, thanks for the hugs. At his last sentence, pink blush appears on his cheeks, one that make Kaguya smiles back kindly, although of course, with no small amount of well-hidden lust in her orbs. Anything for you, my Naru. And Naruto began to sputter at that. Followed by Kaguya's mesmerizing laugh that make Naruto pout. Today is a nice day, though somehow, Naruto know, soon all of this going to end. He just hoped that his gut feeling is wrong.